Hello, Philip.
Hello, evening, and
How are
also
you doing?
morning. Good, good, all good.
Yes. Yes. Hello, friends. I can see that many people are coming in already. We got Rupali, Sachin, Leslie, Pooja, Swati. Welcome, welcome, friends. Welcome to our series of webinars. Today we've got our friend Philip from Taiwan who's here, and he's going to talk about conservation and the use of optics, different kind of equipment, which was useful for the field. Once you're in the field, you need this sort of equipment to enhance your experience and to understand, everything about species. I will quickly introduce myself and then Philip to you, and then we get started. So, friends, my name is Mohit Agarwal. Some of you already know me. I am the founder of Asian Adventures, which is India's largest birding company. And we've been in operation since 1994, so completed 31 years. And I've been trained in ecotourism um, by GSTC. And I'm also the founder of Global Wildlife Fair, which is going to happen in New Delhi. It's the first wildlife fair which is happening on the planet, and it'll happen in October 10 to 12th. So don't miss this chance. If you go to the website and you go into the visitor section or the exhibitor section, you will be able to see the forms which you can fill up, and you'll have your free passes coming your way, and then you'd be able to attend the fair. And the fair will have lots of dimensions. This is one place where you'll also meet Philip in person, and he will be there displaying his equipment from Optisan, and you can, choose to know more about his work, his business, his optics. You can do some business, or you can increase your knowledge. So let me quickly read out Philip's introduction to you. So while he's a product manager at Optisan Optics, he's also a volunteer guide of Raptor Research Group of Taiwan. He developed a passion for wildlife from a young age, but found his path in 2014 through birdwatching. As a product manager at Optisan Optics, he focuses on binocular and spotting scope development while promoting his brand philosophy, which is bridge people to nature. He collaborates with nature education and birdwatching organizations to advocate for wildlife conservation and environmental protection. And he's working towards a more harmonious connection between people and nature. So that's a bit about him, and you already know about me now. And I will also post links as we go along. A few things about the webinar. In case if there's a glitch in the system and the system goes off, don't go away. I will press the panic button. There's a button here on my system, and I will reboot. And both Philip and I will come back. And you don't go away because that's how the system is designed. And if you want to ask any questions, you can put them in the chat box, and then later, after he finishes his presentation, we can answer your questions. So we won't let it go beyond an hour, but I have a feeling that we might even end before that. It's also dinner time for most people in India currently. What time is it in Taiwan right now, Philip?
10. So I'm already full.
Yeah, report. Okay.
I'll try to be quick.
Okay, excellent. Friends, if you can hear me well and I'm audible clearly and you can hear Philip, just say yes in the chat box so that I know that we're all good to go. Okay, by the time they say yes, it'll be a bit, a few seconds.
Oh, so
So,
there's still like small
yeah,
latencies
yeah,
between.
yeah. So you go
Oh,
right ahead, Philip, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Mohit. And I just wanted to first say thank you. It's been an honor to be able to have this sharing session with everybody here. And good evening, and also maybe I don't know if there's other time zones here. Maybe good morning and good afternoon to everybody. And oh, I would need to do start, right? Okay, so yeah, my name is Philip, and I personally I've been doing bird watching since 2015, and I'm gonna share with you everybody a little bit about myself later. And I'm also working as a product manager of Optisan Optics, and this is also why I started to do bird watching in the first place. And now I'm quite enthusiast, not only in bird watching as a hobby myself, but also really um, happy and willing to spend my time with getting more and more people into this bird watching hobby. And I'm gonna explain why um, for that. And today I wanted to share just two topics with you guys. The first of all, of course, is because the nature of my profession, the because of Optisan Optics, I wanted to share with you how to compare and choose optic uh, without any professional tool, and how to compare the performance between the two optics. And we're gonna use binocular as an example along the way. And the second topic is why Optison is here. How come this is very, I know that this is a very conservation and wildlife observation a community. So why is Optison here? How come we're here? I kind of want to share with you everybody our story behind all this. Okay, so we're gonna move on real quick to the first topic. So I don't know if this happened to everyone here. So I suppose most of our audience right now is quite familiar with the already got a pair of binocular and quite familiar with using them. But when just try to think back when you first started, when you first trying to get your first pair of binoculars, have you ever wondered why the prices of the binocular differ so much? So let's imagine a scenario when you were after your first bird watching trip, you were quite happy, and you started to think about getting a pair of binoculars for yourself, so that in the future you can do wildlife watching yourself, and you start to do some research, and you go on, like, let's say Amazon, and you just put in binoculars 8 by 42, and there's a whole bunch of all sorts of different binoculars came out, and there's something from the price is very different. So going from even like $30 all the way up to like $1,000 you will find. So this is quite confusing at the first place. So you know that there's definitely something different. So you try to do your homework, right? So you found out that there's like the tech spec, there's technical specification with every product. So you ask your friend that, hey, what models should I get? So maybe they will tell you that, oh, just get a 8 by 42 or 10 by 42. Okay. So you try to do some more studying. So you found out that, let's use this as an example. There's one of the top end ones should be right. The 9500 binoculars, 10 by 42, and you get your technical spec here on the left hand side. And there's another options which is only $600, and also 10 by 42. So you get your technical spec on the right hand side. Okay, so you start to compare them and try to figure out what's the difference that would cause so much uh, the so much price difference here. So the magnification is the same, the objective lens is the same, And the angle field of view, the 9500 one has a 6.4 degree, and the 600 has a 7 degree. So this is where it gets even confusing. You would thought that the bigger the field of view, the more possible that you will be able to find your target, right? So isn't the bigger the better? So this is where it gets all very, very confusing for you. And you go all the way down, and you found out that the technical sophistication for you isn't really helping for you to make your decision on which binoculars to choose. Okay. So to be honest, that's actually our fault. So I think all the brands and the binocular manufacturers are because the natural of the optics right now nowadays, it's so hard to quantify and able to, for example, if you get any of the two binoculars on hand, and the best scenario would be something like if we could tell you, hey, this is $100 and it will hit a optics mark on from 0 to 100 to, let's say, 60. And then you got another 200 ones. And okay, the optics performance mark will hit at, let's say, 70. But because it's so hard to quantify all the optical performance, so I never had any experience, even for myself, because uh, we would be to able to quantify the performance and let you know in some sort of specification way. So even up to now, I don't believe that any of the brands are doing that. So it's actually very hard for an end user like us when you're trying to get a binocular, but it's so hard to tell what's the price difference. So that's why I wanted to take the first half of our session to wanted to share with you how you can do that even without any professional tools today. Okay, so we're gonna first know about what to compare in what way when you are trying to compare the optics. The first thing is, of course, the optical performance. So how clear and how bright that is. So a lot of the times you will see that you have a senior bird watchers go birding with you, and then he will let's say lend you their binoculars, and when you take it on and try it, you'll say, this is so much better than ours. So I'm gonna tell you how to what in what way those expensive ones are better. There are actually 5 matrix that we can compare without any professional tool. Okay, so that's the first one, the optical performance. And the second one is also very important, is the mechanical performance, that how can we compare the two so that you know, why is this one better than the other one? Okay. And also other minor metrics that you also need to take into consideration when you choose and compare optics, such as the warranty. What's the warranty that the brand gives you? What sort of after sales service they provide, and what kind of accessory come with the optic, and the exterior design and everything. Okay, so let's get into how to compare the optical performance. The first metrics that you could compare is the brightness. This one is quite easy to understand. So comparing, let's say, well, you got two binoculars side by side. When you do the comparison, you try to aim it to the same target. The and we have two images on the slide, and let's say on the left hand side, the robin is the one that you were one of the optics, one of the binoculars that you're trying to compare, and on the right hand side there is the other one. Okay, so clearly the brighter ones are the ones that we want, right? So the brightness is quite easy. So comparing the two binoculars with the same object, the brighter image you have is the better one you have. Okay, so this one is quite easy, right? And the next metrics is color fidelity. So when we try to do wildlife and bird watching, observation and bird watching, you want to see the real color of the object, of the bird, right? So take this robin, for example. On the left-hand side, you'll see that this color is more resembled to the true color of the environment and the bird. And on the right-hand side, you have another binocular that shows you a little bit of the bluish layer comparing to the real color. So we can clearly tell that the left one is the better ones, right? Okay. Okay. So the third matrix that we could compare is the distortion, because the binoculars and spotting scope, they are using convex lenses to form the image. So it would definitely create some level of the distortion. Even if you got a very, very good binoculars on the edge of the field of view, you can still see the distorted image. It's just a level of how severe that it is. So let's take this two comparison. On the left-hand side, we were aiming at a building, side of the building. So on the side of the building is a straight line, and on the left-hand side, the optics is quite it's there's only very little distorted on the left-hand side. But on the right-hand side, you can see that this is very the building seems to be got bented and created a curve. So you can definitely tell that on the left-hand side, this is the better optics options, right? And this is also, we can come back to the previous example that the tech thing that I show you. Remember when we saw this, the expensive ones have less field of view. A lot of the time you will see that if you were able to hold these two binoculars side by side, you will see that the cheaper one, even though the binocular has a larger field of view, the edge is usually more distorted. So that creates some problem, is that when you're trying to use this sort of binoculars, when you're scanning through an area, it's easier to get dizziness out of when you use the binoculars. So when we're actually design a binocular spotting scope. When we're doing the optical design, we are actually will consider how big the field of view we will leave at the end result on the field of view, so that when you are using it, you will not it will we will try to make the observation process as smooth and as comfortable as possible. So that's actually the reason why you will see the field of view is not it's not the bigger the better. It's not like that. So the fourth metrics that you will be able to compare is the resolution. Right? So the resolution is actually how much detail can you have through the optics, through the binoculars, for example. So again, we have two examples here. On the left-hand side, you can see the markings all the way up to, like, this is a ruler, okay, clearly. They are all the way up to even over 30 centimeter marking count. But on the right-hand side, it's already become quite blurry at 28. So like after 28, it's so hard to tell through the binoculars with the markings where you're at. So by comparing these two, you can definitely tell on the left hand side, the left one is the better optics. Okay, the fifth and the final metrics that we can do on the optical comparison is dispersion. So dispersion is these uh, purplish, yellowish, sometimes bluish um, um, color that shows on the edge of the object, and it created because of the refraction between the multiple times from when light travels from air to the lenses and then all to the air and lenses again all the way, so that you will see as an end result, because the different wavelengths has a different refraction angle. So you will see on the field of view, especially on the edges, you will see these sort of dispersion on when the object is magnified. And clearly on the again we have these two example when the one with less dispersion, the one with the is the one that we want, right? So the left hand, on the left hand side you can see the wall should be like grayish and whitish, but on the right hand side it shows these abnormal color that you have. So dispersion also usually comes together with resolution, because as you can imagine, when the light travels and overlapping on the same spot, they will the resolution of how much detail you can see usually will also get affected together. So when you had a binocular that is that you will you can see more dispersion, usually you will also see that the resolution is also coming down. So we have the 5 matrix that you will be able to create, compare the optics. The first one is brightness. So usually you should get the one with the brighter image, and the one had a true color closer to what you see with your eyes, and the one has less distorted image, especially on the edge, and the one that you can see more detail, and the one you have less dispersion. Okay. And if when you are doing really when you start to really do side by side comparison, you will find out that with the sometimes with the closer budget, it's you might be able to see like 3 out like if you're comparing 2 binoculars, for example, maybe you will see 3 out of 5 metrics that this one is better than the other one. So that is also why it is very hard for nowadays to that even if with like manufacturer professionals, they will be able to tell you, hey, you take whatever 2 binocular and they could tell you which one is better. You will be you should you can only compare it by yourself through these metrics, and then you will know, oh, why is this one more expensive than the other one. Okay. And when you are doing the comparison, just remember, put your eyes in the correct position. And by correct, meaning that your eye should be vertical to the light path. So light travels from the objective side all the way. So follow this green light. This is the green line. The green arrow is where the light comes in, and your eye should be on the purple line here. So I'm trying to do it wrong for you guys. So the blue line, my eye position is wrong. So if I tilted my head like this, it's very likely that I will see more dispersion, the bluish, yellowish stuff on the field of view. That's not intended by the binoculars, by the optical design. So try to be at the correct eye position when you are comparing the optics. Okay, So when try to compare the mechanical performance, it's also very hard to, how to quantify like how many scores one will get, but you can actually still feel that through by yourself, meaning that what you can do is that you can turn all the moving parts. So take the binoculars, for example. We have this twist-up eye cup, which is movable, and we have the center focusing knob that's removable, and we have the two barrel when you are adjusting the bridge. I'm sorry, adjusting the eye distance that you can turn. So by turning all this, you will be able to feel that which one is better than the other one. And in what way is that when you turn everything, you should feel consistency. So that, for example, we have two eye cup, one on the left and one on the right. So you can feel the consistency on the left eye cup and the eye cup. Usually the better ones, they have more better machining and design tolerance that's smaller. So you will feel that your strength is consistent when you're using the part. And when you turn the center focus knob from one end to the other end, when you keep turning, you should able to feel that the strength you need to use to turn the focus knob is should be more consistent all the way from one end to the other. And that's one of the small thing that you could take into you can feel that which one is better than the other one. And that also, you can combine that also with the after-sale service and the warranty that the brand provide you. So, for example, usually if you get a binocular that's over like $150 US, they will tell you that it's waterproof. Okay, but in the real world, I would say that if you take one binocular and they tell you it's waterproof with 1 year guarantee, and the other brand tell you it's waterproof with 10 years guarantee, you can consider them in like different. You can actually I think I would translate that into 1 year waterproof and 10 year waterproof. That sort of um, thinking. I think that's more closer to what the real life is, because the mechanical performance is actually quite important, as important as the lenses and the optical performance, because on the each barrel there's actually over seven lenses inside, and we need all the different mechanical parts to hold them together, and some of them even need to move in order to help us focus. So the tolerance of the mechanical performance will actually also affect how the optical performance be like. Because if you have your lenses not on the correct position, you won't be able to get the optical performance that were intended in the original optical design. So that is also one of the reason why you saw that the when the at the top end of the binoculars, even though you didn't see a lot of the optical performance enhancement, there's so much price difference. One of the reason is that in order to, there's not only the lenses and the coating that need to be upgraded, also the mechanical parts is also very important in order to achieve consistency and achieve the um, optical performance that was intended to be. And when you're choosing about binoculars, definitely look out into the weight. I have just too much customer telling me that the weight is they had a old binocular, the Poro binocular that was too much weight for them, so that they just don't want to carry it out to the field. So um, we have been doing quite well, especially on the the lighter in weight binoculars models, because I think so much people are nowadays, especially when the lenses and the coating technology improves, a lot of time you don't need that much weight on the objective side to be able to get a good enough performance. And I wanted to share with you guys that um, the price and the weight and the brightness, out of these three, usually you can choose two. So let's say if you wanted to, if your budget is tight, uh, it's better that you choose the larger objective so that it will gather more light. So it will at least give you better brightness. So if you cannot, you need um, endure some of the extra weight that on the binocular. However, if you can you wanted to have a lighter binocular and also a bright enough, very bright, good optical performance binoculars, usually it will comes in quite cheap, quite expensive. So out of these three, you can usually choose two. Okay, so that sums up about the two of the most important optics comparisons. So the optical and the mechanical performance that you could compare. And I would also suggest that take the after-sales service and the warranty into consideration when you get a optics. So what you can actually ask from your dealer or the brand is that what sort of repair service is like, and usually how long does it take? And if I lost something, do you have spare parts here that I could get? These are the most important questions that I think um, usually it will happen to everyone, because our standard line for the bird watching optics is like only about like 180-ish US dollar. And a lot of our customers already using it like after 7, 8 years and still doing bird watching with me with our previous generation model. So it at this such long period of time, a lot of things might happen. So this is why I would say that just take a look at this, and then so that you will know after 3 or 5 years of using the binoculars what you should expect to happen. Okay, so that's the first part about sharing. So the second part, I I kind of want to talk and share about you guys our story, me personally, and the Optisan story behind all these. So how um why are we here, and what we are heading, and what I'm trying to actually accomplish in hopefully my generation. So we are actually Optisan is actually a family business. So my father, who's doing tooling for the Japanese manufacturer, started to do binocular and lenses manufacture in, I think, 1992 or 1993-ish. So he started to get involved in this business and started this brand in 1998. And my sister and I um, both come back to the family business. And uh, there was because like just like a lot of the manufacturer manufacturer company, we we started in this business more in the OEM business. So we do a lot of the stuff, optics for the other brands. But to me and my sister, we were always wondering what to do with our own brand, and why we need to exist in this world. And we try to find more meaningful things for ourselves and also our brand. And to be honest, I was very, very lucky because I came back to the family business 2014, and on a 2015, there's NGO in southern part of China. They bought a batch of binoculars from us, and then they invited me and my wife to their bird watching tour for beginners. And I started to know what is bird watching and everything. I was um so much develop and invest in this. I started to do a lot of bird watching myself. And other than that, the NGO was doing something that really shocked me that at that point of time. They were having a lawsuit with the local government. So it was really intrigued because I never thought that in an like authoritarian regime they can do that. And they were just like my age. They are the three founders of the NGOs. They were promoting natural observation, bird watching, and also other a lot of the other stuff. And they were suing the government because they were illegally developing one of the conservation areas on the northern part of Guangdong, the one of the province in China. So I was it started to hit me that, oh, this is something really serious that people are willing to bet their life and career on it. And I started to get to know the NGOs and the or a lot of the like the bird watching societies in China and Taiwan. And I think like about like 1 year, this also happened. This is one of the biggest crop field on the southern part of Taiwan. So the story is that this land is like part government land. So it was always in discussion of the developing because it was so close to one of the high-speed rail station, so that the land uh, that let's say that a lot of the people wanted to remove all this and build some houses and the commercial buildings on it so that it will make more money for them. So they um this I saw a, a sharing. By that time, I was only like a regular bird watchers enthusiast, and I saw this post sharing that oh, there's sarcastically, huh, they try to do this that, oh, you see there's only crops here, it's a farm field, there's nothing here, and these are definitely not important of these wildlife. There's no rats here, so there's no cash flow. Okay, something like this. And what really hit me in this post is not what they were they work on. Is because you can clearly see that they put a lot of the heart and effort on this, and they were doing a lot of the very good photos and editing. But the 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 effect the people they were able to get and see this are just too little in my point of view. So at that point of time, you can see that only like 25, 26 people were showing emotions on the post. So I was thinking that because if we wanted to do if really wanted to saw that bird and have the wildlife utilize that area, this is a very long-term game that we need to do. Oh, and the next thing I check is that okay, I check their Facebook page for the saving the crop seal Facebook page. They had like about like 3,000-ish. I think right now it's like 4 or 5,000-ish only for the Facebook page. So in my point of view, that's just too little. So because in Taiwan at least we can vote, right? So we're gonna my in I was thinking that if we can get enough swing vote in these area, we would definitely gonna can we would definitely be able to preserve the area in the long term if we could get enough swing vote. So what can we do? as a business. That's got into my head. So this is my solution and what I really wanted to do now. So it's just for what we can do is that we could create some sort of like a positive cycle to bring more people in. Okay, so because just like me, I really love to do the wildlife and the bird watching. It's just that before I turned 30, I never know that the birds were so close and they were so beautiful. So I was kind of hoping that if we can try to let more people get into know and try to see and have them see them for themselves, that they would started to care for the wildlife, for the birds, and for the environment. So if we could bring more people into bird watching, ultimately they are going to get some binoculars, right? So we would be able to take that, um, you could say profit, you can say the marketing budget and or anything, that we can take the business value, the money that we created through this cycle, and then we can put it back into bringing more people and protecting the wildlife and try to do conservation in a long-lasting cycle. So that's what I really wanted to achieve for Optisan right now. Okay. So what I've been trying to do is that so the first thing would definitely be getting more public into this sort of entry level guiding event. So that's also why I became very close with Raptor Research Group of Taiwan. I'm very lucky that in I think in 2017 their head of secretary told me that, oh, you wanted to do this sort of thing. So would you be able to willing to like sponsor us a couple of binoculars so that we can announce it on our Facebook, so when people come to our Raptor watching tour, they can borrow the binoculars. And of course I said yes, and then they tell me after that they had like 40% more people coming to the event, just because they know that they don't need to prepare anything and they could land the binoculars while walking with us to have a raptor public guide a guided public raptor watching tour. And I also do a, a lot of these sort of things in northern and southern part of China. And these other things that we were trying to do is that this is more for I think, because we if we wanted to do conservation, of course we need to learn about them. So I am also quite honored to get we were talking to the eBird Taiwan site, and they were back then, I think this also started in like 2018 or 17. So back then they were they wanted to do of course they wanted to encourage birders to submit more records so that in the future the research the people who are doing research will have more data to reference. So they were um, they they tell me that if I could sponsor something as prizes, they could do more challenges. So right now, every year, usually on the eBird Taiwan site alone, we do fourth quarterly challenge for every season, so that they could have different sort of um, topics that they decided, and as a prizes, we could actually um, encourage people and had a reason to promote the challenges, so that more people would know about the and starting to submit record to the eBird Taiwan site. So this also had been quite successful. They also tell me that and I can also see that it was growing very quickly in Taiwan now. So if you ever wanted to check on the either the rare birds or some or what to do bird watching and something like that. Either on the Taiwan records are quite there's a lot of checklists that you could reference. And also, of course, the research stuff. So the black kite survey on the Taiwan and the migration waterfowl survey and the conservation of the wetlands that we do a lot of the working and try to sponsor them so that um, for Optisan, of course, as branding, we will have the brand building, and we will be start to know by all the Taiwan birders, and for them, they will be able to do um, to have a proper equipment to do the research and survey. And this is also something that I think is quite important, but mostly for the China part, because they were, I think they were kind of like comparing to Taiwan, they were at the beginning stage, so they need as much resource as possible. So my wife drew this, consulted the Wild Bird Society of Taiwan, which has a rescue center for the birds. So my wife consulted them and then do this sort of like a small anime. We print it as small brochures and then we send out for free in China so that everybody know what to do in the springtime if you saw the birds who fall out or and how to avoid like the birds bombing the window, the window kill stuff is quite serious. Okay. And last but not least, in international wise, we have been um I was quite happy because I never thought this could happen because right now we work with so much in international professional bird guides, and I think this is also what usually what the professional bird guides I talk to also are doing the same thing is doing this. It's just that what they are doing is they are creating business value out of the environment. So they were able to a lot of the international bird guiding company either they are the local NGO themselves or they were doing something similar to support the caring about the wildlife and the environment. So so this is really I only started to I only found out about this I think like 3 years ago, but I know that they were doing the same thing. It's just that so I think on top of the birds and the environment, um, from my perspective, if we could get people to live on top of this platform, it will be something more long lasting and more uh, we will be hopefully that it will be something not for not like a government sponsor that's sort of like a 2 or 3 year project thing. It will be a a longer period and we will be able to do this hopefully in a longer in forever for to care and to protect the environment. So we have been doing a lot of the working and the bird guys gonna help us like doing the reviews and in some area they were even like representing Optisan for ourselves and I'm quite very happy because we were that's really what I wanted because I we will be able to share the marketing resources and the resale margins to them so that they will have more income so that they could focus on helping and how to redistribute the these sort of money resource in our common goal. Yeah. So yeah, I've been doing yeah, so again, this is why I'm really happy and I talked to Mohit and I wanted to join the Global Wildlife Fair because in the last 2 years I started to get to know a lot of the good friends in this industry and I'm pretty happy and pretty um um I really think that this is something that quite meaningful for both me and our companies, that we would able to do this. And so hopefully that at least in my generation, I will be we could try to get more resources into this community and see the conservation resources grow along the way that we grow.
That was
Cool.
that's excellent webinar, Philip. I think it's the need of the hour. A lot of bird watchers and wildlife enthusiasts, they keep asking on these groups, which is a
Mhm.
good binocular to buy? How should one look at it? What's a budget? And then there's a conversation that starts, oh, 8 by 42 or 10 by 42. And then some people say, no, there's no need to spend so much money. They all are alike. And some people say, no, there's a world of a difference, the sort of a thing. And then, people get quite confused. So a few years ago, I'd done a webinar with Brian Stretch from the Birder Store, and that was really useful because we recorded that webinar and we put it on our playlist in YouTube, which has a huge number of views right now, and many people want to watch that. And now this webinar, which will also be repurposed for you, will be very knowledge imparting. I think it'll be a game changer for many people who want to switch from one pair to another, or buy another one, or invest in optical equipment. So this is useful. And then I'll tell you, when we take people out on Delhi Earth walks. Oh, friends, by the way, we're going to start Ahmedabad Earthwalks and Dubai Earthwalks as well. So Delhi Earthwalks, when we would take people out and we put the scopes out and when we put binoculars out, and a lot of them do not have these sort of optical equipment, they they are shell shocked. They say, "Oh, that's what that bird looks like. That's what,"
Yeah.
and that starts them on this journey. Sometimes it's they don't have any idea. I mean, they see a bird, it's okay, just a bird. But when they see each and every part of that bird, the plumage, the iris, the legs, and they say, wow, it's a game changing experience, and it sets them on
Yeah.
the path. So I think this webinar will really do justice to those who've been looking around for various options. And then when you're here, you carry your samples, then you'd be able to meet people, collaborate with them, and hopefully push your goods into India so that people can buy
Yes. Mm.
these pieces from you, and you should be able to do business. Also, your journey from coming from it was a commercial company that your dad started, and then you brought in this dimension of nature and nature tourism or bird watching. That itself shows that any business can be planet friendly. Any business has the capacity to be on the same trajectory, which is aiding wildlife, which is aiding
Mm.
life forms. And I think that's important. And that's one thing that we're going to be addressing at Global Wildlife Fair, that irrespective of which business you're in, you have to start thinking that, are you planet friendly? Is your
Yeah.
business planet friendly? How are you going to look at, minimizing many things that are not required? So thank you very much, Philip, for bringing this lovely piece of information related to binoculars. And we hope to see you in. First, we'll see you in September at the World Bird Fair
Yeah.
in Thailand, and then at Global Wildlife Fair in New Delhi. So, friends, if you've got questions, you will have replay link tomorrow of this webinar, and those who missed will also get the link. And then you can directly correspond with Philip for your question answers or anything that you need. And thank you very much for spending time. Oh, by the way, we've got another webinar tomorrow at the same time. and that's by Louis from Colombia. You met Louis Philip already, and he's going to be talking about his story and the birds in Colombia, and how he does things differently. So please register for that webinar if you haven't done so, and we'll see you tomorrow again. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, friends. Bye-bye. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, Philip.
Bye.